Okay, we are recording.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Mark Belue's video. This is Mark Belue, our insurance agent for y'all who haven't met him before, and this is Samantha Hooker, who's going to be talking to us today about our new supplemental plan that'll work hand in hand with our United Healthcare insurance plan. Mark, the floor is yours.
Okay, to give you some backdrop, I've been doing this about 30 plus years. Costs continue to go up. Marty and I have been doing this, I don't know how long, since you were the
15 years.
Since you were the one employee, right, as a one-person group, and we had one building. And we're continuing to try to make the best out of a tough situation with health insurance. It's expensive for everybody. And my job is to make lemonade out of lemons. And this year, actually, we had a fairly good renewal with United Healthcare. Not great, and we're not really greatly happy with the plan. But I asked Marty, I showed the staff here a different approach, a radically different approach. You guys got involved with that a little bit because we asked you to go through the underwriting process. That's something we haven't done in years as it relates to dealing with group insurance. It didn't work out, but we tried it. You know, you can't catch a fish with your hook out of the water, so we tried it, it didn't work, so now we moved to the best thing. The bottom line is that the staff here and Marty here has heard people in the group complain. Really, the main pain point seems to be the out-of-pocket cost and the out-of-pocket exposure for big claims. That's not the only complaint, but that seems to be the dominant one. We tried to solve that with this other radically different plan that didn't work. Another thing we tried to do was we tried to come up with an idea of actually running two plans here at Hind's Feet Farm. We would treat the current plan that you currently have now that you're used to sort of as a base plan, and for those of you who wanted to increase benefits or cut your out-of-pocket cost or something like that, you could kind of opt for what we call the buyout plan. That didn't work because the buyout plans they offered us weren't really addressing the needs specifically that you guys were voicing. And then the other thing was it was horribly expensive to buy that buyout plan, so even if you did buy it, you couldn't afford it. I wouldn't want to pay for it. So because of my relationships with the firm that Samantha works with, I've known her boss, Rock, for a number of years. We are putting in what's called a gap plan. Now understand that this plan is going to require, for at least the member part, the employee part, the employer to pick up 100% of that cost. And also remember that the current United Healthcare plan, it's going up as well. So the farm is having to pick up that portion as well of the member cost. So it's sort of a double dose to add this plan on top of an already increase for this year. And that's why in order to reach, and they did have to reach to make this gap thing work that you're going to hear about from Samantha, we had to ask the members to chum in, I think it's what, $25 a month, something like that. I know you guys don't get paid monthly, but it's about $25 a month. Divide that out by 26 pay periods. It's bi-weekly, right? Mm-hmm. So you take 25 times 12, that gives you your annual divided by 26. And then that's what's going to be deducted from your gross pay before taxes. And so we asked you to have a buy-in, but for that contribution, you actually get both plans. And so when you file a claim in certain instances that Amanda's going to talk about, you're going to get one explanation of benefits from your United plan, just like you've always been used to. That's going to continue. And then you're going to have another ID card and explanation of benefits from the Chubb plan. Now, she'll tell you this. Chubb is the insurance company. It's C-H-U-B-B. They've been around for a long time. They're actually what we call the paper. They're the ones that are bearing the risk. But there's an administrator that creates and works your product off of that Chubb paper, and they're called what? CWI? CWI, and they're out of Greenville, South Carolina?
That's correct.
Okay, so you'll have some involvement with them. Perhaps you're going to see CWI and you're going to see Chubb, but the main thing to understand is Samantha, because Samantha is she's our person here, and she lives in Charlotte. She's an expert at this. She's been doing these type plans for a long, long time, and so she's going to be available to help us, to help me, to help Kat, to help anyone here at the farm going forward. And that also means to help you with any claims issues or to go over this again. And so another reason we're doing this video, and we will be posting it to YouTube, and I may put some sort of a fictitious name. It may not be Hind Street Farm, because this is kind of y'all's business and that'll be a public site. I may come up with some similar name and post it, but it won't be Hind Street Farm to kind of keep it incognito. But y'all can watch that. You can watch it over and over again. You can watch this presentation over and over again. Your spouses can watch it as well if they're involved. And so it's just something that we'll keep up for, I don't know, however long they tell us to keep it up, and then we can take it down if we need to take it down. Okay, so with, I didn't hear any questions, so I'm just going to turn it over to Samantha at this point. So Samantha, you want to take it from me?
Asheville, can you hear okay?
Yep. Yes, we can.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Hey everyone, I'm Samantha, so I'm just going to take a couple minutes to explain the GAP plan that we're putting in place. So basically this plan is going to lower your deductible significantly. So when you have something major come up, if you need to go to the hospital or have outpatient, inpatient surgery, your deductible is going to be $1,850. So once you pay that $1,850, this Chubb plan will take care of the rest of the cost. So the one thing that you really need to remember is always you'll get a secondary ID card. So you'll get your UHC card, and then you'll also get another card in the mail. It'll look very similar, and it'll just say CWI Chubb, and you'll hand both cards to the hospital or the doctor's office, whoever you're going to see, and that they will on their end file that for you. So the one thing to remember is just always have that card with you. So keep it in your wallet, your purse, wherever you need to have it. Make sure you have that card so they can easily just file that card for you. One important thing to remember is that when you go have something major done and you present that card, just always make sure you say that this is my secondary insurance card. Some people will say this is a supplement and they'll think it's Aflac and they don't want to file it. So just make sure you say this is my secondary insurance card. It helps pay back my deductible, and they'll file it for you.
Let me step in here just a minute. Okay, this is really, really, really important. So you want to write that term down and commit it to memory. Secondary insurance. Is that what
Secondary, yeah,
okay.
Secondary insurance.
This to you, and when you explain this to other people, it's called secondary insurance. Please do not say supplemental insurance. When your providers hear supplemental insurance, they're going to think, like she says, Aflac and things like that. Those policies most often are not designed to pay them. So they're not going to have a real strong vested interest in helping you get all the paperwork done and file that claim. Okay? This will pay them. Okay, so if you say supplemental, they're going to hear Aflac. We're not getting the money, so you're kind of on your own. Tough
secondary.
one. Yeah.
Secondary insurance.
Secondary insurance, not supplemental. Okay. Secondary insurance. So please make a mental note of that.
Yes, thank you.
Somebody just join us. Hello.
It's me, Heather.
Hey, Heather. We've got one more.
Do you want me to start?
You don't have to start over. She can watch the video.
Okay. So I have a couple flyers that I brought with me. One of them shows you how to file a claim. So like I said, the easiest way is just to present both cards when you have something come up. But say for some reason you forgot your card, you lost it, the provider doesn't want to file it for whatever reason, all you have to do is just go onto CWI's portal. And there's also instructions here on how to sign into the portal. So once you're signed into the portal, you can pull a claim form online and just fill it out online. So if you happen to just not have that card on you, there is another way you can file for reimbursement. So those are the two different ways to file the claim. The one other thing, some people get confused with this card. It's not for doctor's office visits or prescriptions or little things like that. It's for anything that goes towards your deductible. So we've had a couple instances where people will present it to their doctor's office, and the doctor's office will just be really confused because all you have when you go to the doctor's office is a copay. So this card will only apply for things that go towards your deductible, like hospital stays, surgeries, major things like that.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
let's say you're going to your doctor's office, but they were gonna do a procedure or a test that would be outside of the normal
That's a great question.
copay.
Yeah, so for some lab work, you can file that card, so it kind of depends on what services you're having done, but if
Okay.
it's like a procedure or something that's going towards your deductible, that's the key. So if it's going towards your deductible, you can use that card, but for the most part, if it's just a regular doctor's office, you would just have that copay.
Okay.
You know, the way I would look at this too is when you're accessing the medical system and you're paying copays, we're not hearing a lot of pain back from that. I mean, you get the occasional, these copays are too high, but that's really not the thing. Where we're hearing the noise is when you're going into the hospital, or you're having an MRI, or you're having a knee scope, or you're having something outpatient, and you're hitting that $7,350. That's big stuff. That's going to go towards the deductible and the out-of-pocket. I know the other stuff goes towards the out-of-pocket now with Obamacare, the copays do. But for the most part, those are copays. If you're just doing copays throughout the year on a routine basis, you're not going to hit that $7,350 unless you got an awful lot of copays. So one way I would remember this is that this plan is for big stuff. It's really for going to the hospital. Yes, if you're going to a doctor and they do something outpatient, like they remove a cyst or they do something that's not covered under the copay, yes, it would apply. But for the most part, if you're having something done at the hospital, definitely be prepared to pull out this card. If you're having some X-ray even, or some MRI or something like that, some expensive diagnostic.
Colonoscopy, mammogram.
Yeah, something like that, most definitely. And by the way, this is a freebie. If you're going to have a colonoscopy, try to find some place not in the hospital.
Yes.
The closer you are to the hospital, the more the costs go up. So try to find an outpatient facility for colonoscopies. That's just a freebie.
Perfect.
Joe's Plumber.
Joe's Plumber.
One other thing I wanted to mention, on the online portal, again, we have directions on how to sign into that portal. And it's fairly simple, but if you guys have any questions, you can always contact me. But one thing I wanted to point out, if you lose your ID card or just never received it, got lost in the mail, something like that, you can pull a temporary ID card from the portal, and it'll give you a printout until your new ID card comes in the mail.
Yeah. One more thing about the portal. She's stressing the portal. You guys are now paying, I'm going to say $25 a month for your coverage. Okay? Part of what you're getting with both coverages, not just their plan, but also United Healthcare, you are buying a technology package. Okay? You are getting apps. Do y'all have an app? You don't have an app yet?
I don't think they do, but the
Okay.
portal's very
United Healthcare has an app. There are all kinds of tools at United Healthcare. So if you have not gone to myuhc.com for United Healthcare, myuhc.com, there is a ton of resources that will help you from everything from diet to exercise to doing what are called online risk assessments. You name it. You can track your claims. And what I would do is I would call your member services number on the back of your card and log on and just get them to show you the top 5 things that people like to see in there. And that way it kind of gets you going. But please take advantage of that technology package that you're getting for your money. It's a really, really big deal, and it'll really help you.
I think that's all. I think that's all I have.
Are there any questions from the Asheville group?
We just lost them, and my phone just died. I'm sorry, you guys.
Okay.
So Marty's connected to the
Okay.
conference line. Are they on the conference line?
Are you guys still there?
Okay. She's back. This is just the three of them.
Do you guys have any questions for us? Because we're pretty much at the end, towards the end of the meeting.
I don't either. Clear.
Okay?
Well, that was
That's
easy.
easy. We appreciate y'all coming all the way out here.
No, that's fine.
But I think this will be good, and I'll make sure that we've got the paperwork
Yeah.
for them. But I think the key thing that we can take away from this, and we'll
Secondary
recommunicate,
insurance.
is that it's secondary insurance.
Yeah.
And we'll recommunicate that when we get these handouts.
Yeah.
And that as you're going to a doctor's office visit, you can have it in case there's a procedure or something, but more than likely, they're not gonna file that there for a doctor's visit.
Right.
But if you're having a procedure, you should
Yeah.
have it ready just in case.
Yeah.
or or possibly a test,
It
some
probably wouldn't be a
diagnostic.
bad idea just to give it to your doctor, just so they'll have it and put it in your file, right?
They may not know.
No reason not to.
It may cause more problems than it's worth
Yeah.
at the doctor.
Okay.
I would do it at the hospital.
Or colonoscopy, or
Big stuff.
an MRI, or a
Big
CT,
stuff.
Yeah.
or,
Most definitely.
Mammogram.
Right, things like
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
You can use that card
Yeah.
for you.
okay.
Okay. Things that are not covered by a copay, that's gonna be your drug card and your doctor's visits,
Right,
for the most part. I can't think of anything else.
prescriptions.
Okay? Yeah. Okay,
Thanks.
sayonara.
Thank you, guys.
All right, I'm gonna walk in.